This is Dan Doyle from NCSA Men's Basketball, and I am talking with Coach Weber, the head coach at Rockford College. Congratulations, Coach. You were just promoted recently from an assistant coach to the head coach, correct?
Yes, thank you. Back in March, not too long ago, so I'm excited to be moving forward with everything.
Great. And how long have you been at Rockford as an assistant coach prior?
Prior to me taking over interim in January, I'd been there for the last 4.5 years as an assistant, and then took over interim at the beginning of January, then became official first week of March.
Awesome. Congratulations. And then tell me a little bit about your school and what makes it unique, both your school and your program there at Rockford College.
What makes us unique is, yes, we are NCAA Division III, but I feel like our location makes us unique. About an hour and 15, hour and a half west of downtown Chicago, about an hour and a half south of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So where we're located, we're right in the middle of two major cities that offer a lot for our students and student athletes to be able to travel, see on the weekends and things like that. So where we're at, you can get out of the big city and enjoy a quiet time to study and get better at basketball, but also at the same time, if you want to do something fun on the weekends, you can just jump in the car or take the train in. So it's a nice location for us.
Great, and I know a lot of kids look for that type of atmosphere, when looking at schools here on the NCSA network, so that's great. What are some goals that you set up for your program every year, or being a first-year head coach, what are some goals that you have, heading into your first full season as a head coach?
We have a couple different goals that we want to reach. Our biggest is to be in the top 4 of our conference consistently. We're in the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference, which is pretty competitive. We set that goal because for us, it's the top 6 teams qualify for the conference tournament. It's kind of like Division I, Division II, where anything can kind of happen. And for us, you get automatic qualifier once you win your conference tournament. So we feel like there's 2 seasons. There's a regular season, which is important. And then once we accomplish our goals there, we set new goals once we get to the conference tournament.
Real good. And then, being a first-year head coach and taking over, I'm sure the culture that you have helped develop as an assistant, tell me, what your culture is going to be as a head coach and kind of what your identity is at Rockford with your men's basketball program.
We're going to be a team that's going to play hard every night. We did a great job of it the last 2 months of the season. Kind of getting that a little bit of adjustment period right at the beginning, but about the 3rd week after the change, we kind of hit our stride. And we're going to be a program that is a culture of accountability and leadership. Everyone's going to be accountable for their commitment to the team, both athletically and academically. We're going to push ourselves. Just because you're not labeled as a captain doesn't mean you can't provide leadership. Everybody's a leader and everybody's a follower.
That's outstanding, and you kind of mentioned it, so you feel like the team made a big stride in adapting to the way you ran the program compared to the previous coach?
A little bit. Coach Repson, the previous head coach who I worked for and played for, laid a great foundation for us to build upon. And once we kind of adjusted just a couple small things, I think it's going to lay a big future for us if we continue to build upon that.
Great. And then, with college basketball, the main thing is recruiting and finding guys that, adapt or fit into the culture that you're developing. So tell me, what do you look for in a student athlete through the recruiting process with your program?
For us, we look for, number one, academics. We want to make sure that they're taking care of business in the classroom. And the next thing we look for is a lot of versatility. Our conference doesn't have the traditional 6'7", 6'8" bigs like they do in the other conferences in our region. But we're a team that's built on versatility where we can have players play multiple positions. Our 1s can play 3s, our 3s can play 4s, our 4s and 5s are kind of interchangeable. We do have a dominating big for us. It's about 6'7", 6'8", that we want to build around just by the way we play offensively and defensively. The more versatility we have, the more guys we can play at different positions, and the more depth we can have overall. Our goal is to play 8 to 10 guys a night. If we can do that, I feel like our guys are going to be happy, but we're also going to be fresh, playing 40 minutes and playing up-tempo on both ends of the floor.
Real good. And so what are some do's and don'ts for a student athlete to realize in the recruiting process, in your opinion?
Some do's that I think that some student athletes should take advantage of: to answer every email, phone call, or text message. You just never know where you can end up and where might be the best fit for you. And if you can do that, you're going to keep building relationships that might not lead you to that school, but it might lead you to somewhere else. some other do's is think about what you want to major in. Yes, it's an early decision to think that you're not sure or might be torn between a couple different majors you want to pursue, but I feel like that's a good thing to have an idea of what you want to do. And then a couple of don'ts is don't burn any bridges. Coaches talk. They have connections to each other that if things don't work out for a student athlete and the coach at one school, they might work at another school that the coach knows. So you don't want to burn any bridges. Don't rule out different schools based on levels. Best fit might be a Division III school, even though everybody wants that Division I, Division II NAIA scholarship, which is great. Go out and pursue that. But there's a lot of good, high-quality basketball at the Division III level. Might not get showcased because there's no athletic scholarships tied to it.
Definitely, real good. And then tell me a bit about your recruiting philosophy. How many kids do you start off to target, and kind of the timeline that you look to target these kids, and then bringing them around into a commitment. And ultimately, in your eyes, what is a good class? How many kids is that composed of? And kind of give me some more information on your recruiting philosophy a little bit.
For us, we want to bring in 8 to 10 guys a year, and a lot of it's going to depend on how many seniors we end up having. Next year we'll have 7 graduating seniors, and they're all going to be a big part of our program, so we're going to have to replace a lot. We got a great start on next year's recruiting class, 2016-2017, where we make a list, we contact them, we contact their coaches, AAU and high school coaches, so we can get their summer schedules and get out on the roads and see them at events. And we want to be seen, we want to be noticed, but we also want to get out there and see for ourselves in person so we know what kind of student athlete we're getting. And the more we talk to them and the coaches and get to know them personally and academically, that's going to make us want to know if we can pursue them further or not. So the earlier we get started, which is usually about the spring, early spring, their junior year is when we'll get going on the next year's class, hoping to get commits by the following spring of their senior year.
Real good. Well, Coach Weber, I appreciate you taking the time and talking with us about your program. Best of luck to you here as you begin your first full season as the head coach. You'll do a great job there, and appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thanks for having me on. NCSA has always been a big part of our program and recruiting efforts. We look forward to working with you guys moving forward.